Hello everyone, welcome back. I have a double page scrapbook layout for you. We're going to be creating with the Skylark collection. I'll show you the sticker sheet in detail here in a moment. This is what is called a bring back my pack. So what that means is Close to My Heart introduced this paper pack many moons ago. I don't know when exactly. It's been a long time, but I loved it back then. And I love it now. I was super excited that this was one of the paper collections they chose. It's just gorgeous. I love the colors. It's got this beautiful garden outdoor botanical feel. This is one of those papers you don't even want to cut into because it's just so pretty. So I'll probably just overanalyze this piece. I'm thinking right away you could do one big photo here and already have a lot of the work done for you because this background is so gorgeous. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm seeing it already developing in my mind, but just love that one. Look at these little birds and the detail. I really love it. So I'm showing you they're all double-sided. Again, you could, fussy cut this out and put it on a different layout, but I've got some ideas today. So let me move these out of the way. There is a stamp set and a stencil with this collection also. There's going to be some workshops. You can find all that information on my website, but this is the stamp set here. Very beautiful. Live in the moment. Excellent advice. We should all be living in the moment. And then the stencil here, I know it's kind of hard to see. It's a 12 by 12 stencil, so great for creating your own pattern paper, adding little background details, but it is a botanical. We've got some leaves and beautiful little florals on there. Very pretty. Okay, let me grab my cardstock. Often when I am scrapbooking, I will have some sort of game plan ahead of time. I'll either have a sketch or an inspiration pin or maybe even scrap lifting myself. For today's layout, I have a lot of photos. As you can see here, so many photos. I am definitely going to need to bring in flip flaps to accommodate all of these pictures. I also know that I want to incorporate this pattern paper, specifically this part of the design. I really love it, and that's going to kind of dictate how the rest of this layout goes. So you take the key elements that you want to use, or maybe the ideas you have in your mind, and then the rest will kind of come together as the layout does. So I have two 4x6 photos. These are my focal photos of the story, and then these are all supporting photos. I'll often do that. I'll take my favorite photos and make those larger, and then the other photos that just go along with the adventure are smaller sizes. So this is my friend Melanie, and we were visiting a beautiful garden in Ohio. I'll tell you more about this adventure as we get into the video, but isn't that truck full of plants so cool? I love it. It's so fun. I'd love to have that in my yard. So these two photos, again, are my focal photos, and you'll notice that the truck is going this way. I'm kind of facing in, so I know I want that one over here. And then this one, Melanie, is, positioned on the outside facing in. So this is going to go on this side of the layout. So you can see just by taking in those design elements, we already have, part of our layout taking shape. I actually like this photo nestled into that design right away. That looks pretty good. So I do a lot of frame style layouts. I realize that, but if it's not broke, why change it, right? And this lends itself well to a lot of photos. You know what? Let's put the lagoon on the outside and then maybe just have a little border. I do need to cut off the zip strip there, but maybe we can have a little border of the white highlighting this. And then this photo here, and maybe we'll kind of mirror it on the opposite side. Although I'm not going to mirror this image because the way the pattern paper is, it'd be on the same. It wouldn't be on opposing corners. And plus, that's a very specific design. I don't necessarily want to replicate that, but I'll complement it in my embellishment clusters. So let me go ahead and cut these down. I'll be right back. So I played around with different paper layers and options off camera, and here is what I came up with. I've got a piece of white daisy, and this is 11 inches by 11 and a half. So that if I tuck it in to the center here, so it's going to be one continuous 12 by 24 piece, that gives me a 1/2 inch border. And then what I'm going to do is repeat that 1/2 inch border. So I'll need to cut this down here. And then having these lines on my VersaMat is so helpful. So we've got, you can see I'm going to put this one at 1/2 inch down, and then another 1/2 inch down, 1/2 inch in. It was very hard for me to do, but I did cut into this paper. I was like, oh, I really don't want to. But what I did, I wanted a couple strips to go across the bottom here. So I strategically cut this paper and to where I have a usable piece. This is the paper in its entirety, and if I had chopped it that way, I mean, you could, depending on what parts you want, but to me this has a lot of fun designs on there, and this will be a focal point and design element on a future layout. So we can go ahead and put these here. So these are 3.5 inches. This is going to sit here. I'll get everything arranged neatly when I get it tucked down, but I'm just going to show you the main design here. I have these 2 stickers from the coordinating sticker sheet, and anytime I have 2 pattern papers like this meeting, I like to have some type of little strip to just kind of make that a nicer transition. So yeah, I like that. I think that's the direction we're going to go. This is going to fit right in here, and then we'll have room. I don't know what photo I'm going to put there yet, but let's make sure this is going to work here before I chop the edge of my paper off. And yeah, that's going to work perfectly, just enough room. I am going to add just a little bit of espresso ink to the edges of my pattern paper. I'll do just a bit and then get the rest done off camera so you don't have to watch me inking up the entire layout here. But as I mentioned earlier, I was visiting my friend Melanie, who lives in Ohio. I flew out to attend her scrapbooking retreat this last September. She knows how much I love gardens, so we went to visit the Stan Hewitt house, and we didn't go tour the house, we just went to see the gardens. And it was beautiful. It was just so inspiring. And we walked around for hours, and I took all of these beautiful photos. And there was so much to see, so many different, aspects of the garden to appreciate. And it was interesting because there was like a Japanese garden and then a rose garden, and all of these different types of gardens worked into the overall design. It was beautiful. So this part is a little bit like a puzzle. I know that my landscape photos and square photos can go down here, and then the 3x4s are going to all have to go up top, and I'll include these extras in flip-flaps. I could possibly turn that one. No, we're going to hide that one because there's a really funny story behind the picture with the plants there. So I am going to tuck these behind this one here, and I'll add a flip-flap later on in the video. I do think that has a nice balanced feel to the photos there. I know I want to use this sticker for my title. It says, "The best things in life are the people we love, the places we've been, and the memories we've made along the way." So I think that will look good over in this space here. I almost always put my titles on the left-hand side. Sometimes they'll make it over to the right, but I think that fits there nicely. Everything is feeling very linear and square, which there's nothing wrong with that. I love the tidiness of it, but you'll notice here with my title, I have this on an angle. So rather than putting it straight up and down, or you could put it in place of a 3x4 photo, and it really fits into the grid very nicely. But by putting it on an angle, you're already adding some movement to the page. It's breaking up those lines by spilling outside of the constraints of the square. I also like to achieve that with circles. I've got a couple stickers from the sticker sheet, so I do want to add these somewhere to the layout, and you can already kind of see those. I want more definition to them, so I did cut a couple circles from Espresso cardstock. Now Espresso is not a color that is in this paper pack, but I think it goes quite nicely. Toffee is the tan color in this, toffee and shortbread, but I wanted something a little bit darker, so I think that that's going to look really nice. Now you guys know how much I love my tag dies here. You know, these are always great for layering, adding little different pattern paper or pops of color. So I could do something like that, but I have another secret weapon aside from my tags. I've got my fancy doily thin cuts. I love these things. They are fancy and gorgeous. So let's try this one here. This is pretty big die. It's almost 6 inches. And I'm just going to kind of get a visual here before I cut a piece of paper. And oh yeah, I think that's going to look so pretty. So again, that round shape against all of our squares and rectangles really looks nice. Florals is another way to add some movement and just kind of more organic shapes to your layout. But I think I'm going to go with the doily for sure. So I'm going to cut out maybe the green color. We'll bring some of the green up top. I did cut this from limeade paper, which is a coordinating color. And I just wanted to point out, anytime you have a very intricate die from any company, if you're having trouble cutting that, you know, as we use our die cutting plates, they get warped and cracked. And, you know, over time, things may not cut as well. So just add a cardstock shim. That's all this is. I make super, you know, thin shims from cardstock, and then you'll get better cuts on these intricate pieces. But let's go ahead and see how that looks. And oh, I love it. So pretty. And then we could build some embellishments up on top of that. I also have this little bird cage sticker and I want to use that. So let's just see here. I like to layer some things over the photos, maybe that over there. And I kind of want more room over here, but we don't have much room because I'm off the edge of the page and I don't want to cover up the you know, words there. So what we can do, I've got more room in this photo. So let's switch these two, and then I can overlap the photo. And now look at all this real estate I have. So, you know, there's nothing really important in this particular portion of the photo. So now we can bring in more embellishments and kind of get those tucked in here. Now, these are not part of the collection. These are pocket cards. They're very old. I think it was a collection called Avonlea, but ironically, they look so similar. They probably came out about the same time as the original paper pack. And the colors are not identical, but they go. And what a great opportunity to do a little stash busting, right? So it has the same look and feel. And I think that I'm going to be able to sneak some of these in. So you can tell they're old because the corners are rounded, and that was all the rage back then. But yeah, see, look at how good those colors look. I think that was Sweet Leaf, and that may still be Lagoon. It does look very similar. But yeah, I'm going to thumb through here and find a couple to use. So I pulled these out. It says, "This is why we were meant to be friends," and it's a journaling card. So that is going to be perfect. And then look at this little tab file, this with the bird on there, and then another little bird cage. And then this says a funny thing. Now that was a whole pocket card, but I just chopped it off and I'm going to tuck it behind here, or somehow I'm going to incorporate it in because there is a hilarious story behind this photo. So I just want this to kind of be peeking out. So it has a funny thing happened. And then when you flip it open and read the journaling, you can read the funny story. I am going to add a little espresso ink to these pocket cards to make them pop and match the rest of the layers. So the funny story, you probably can't really see it in the photo, but this little plant, they have little, it's round and kind of like little wrinkles and has little fuzzy hairs all over it. And it kind of looked, you know, like something else. I'm not going to say it in case kids are watching my channel, but I'm thinking it and my friend's thinking it. And the funny part is when I looked up the name of the plant, it's actually called what we were thinking it looked like. And it was just so funny. Called me immature. We laughed and laughed and laughed. And then I took a picture and sent it to my husband. And he laughed at the fact that we were laughing. And it was just hilarious in the moment. We were being so silly. But yeah, it really does look like that. So whoever named the plant obviously has a funny sense of humor too. Back to the layout, I'm trying to sneak in these pocket cards because they're so pretty and I really want to use them. It's almost a shame to cover that bird, but maybe I'll trim off the bottom there. Let's move this one down here to the bottom and kind of offset them. And if you don't have the pocket cards in your stash, then you can achieve this same look with different pattern papers from the collection. I think I'm going to move this circle over here. I kept thumbing through the pocket cards and I saw this little ticket. I fussy cut it off of another pocket card. I thought how perfect, because we did have to buy tickets to get in. So I like that. And it says admit to. There were 2 of us. So that's kind of fun. And then look, I've changed my mind. I thought these were from Avonlea, but it's the same. So this has to be from the original collection. So yeah, I'm kind of glad I hung on to them all these years, right? It justified my hoarding. So I want to incorporate this, maybe somewhere, make a little cluster up there. I'm actually going to move this circle up to the top here, and then we'll put this little ticket down here. And, you know, just because something matches doesn't mean you have to use it. I'm trying to make them work, but sometimes less is more. So let's see how this looks. I do like that peeking out. We'll just have to use that on a different project. Now, because I introduced this darker color on the left side with the ticket, I wanted to repeat that elsewhere on the layout. I do have several stickers from the coordinating sticker sheet. They say the details, laugh out loud, which is very appropriate, and simple joys. Now, I am using garden themed photos with this collection, but really I think a lot of these patterns are neutral and they will lend themselves well to a wide variety of photos. I also cut this little element from a pocket card, and I have a couple butterflies from my stash. I wanted a little something else in this corner here, kind of sticking out. And then this little butterfly is from the Cosette collection. We did see lots of butterflies while we were here touring the garden, so I thought these would be kind of nice to just tuck in and add a little texture and extra detail. I did print my journaling out on my Avery clear sticker paper. The exact sticker paper I use is linked in the description box below. This stuff is awesome. You just print it right on your printer, and then it's clear, so it allows the background of whatever you are placing it over to show through and make it look like you printed it right onto that pocket card. My journaling does say, Melanie knew I would love touring the Stan Hewitt Gardens. We explored every nook and cranny, wandering for hours up and down the winding paths. We giggled over the appearance of a particular plant and laughed even harder when we looked up the name and discovered it was called exactly what it resembled. We ended the tour perusing the gift shop and enjoying a cup of coffee. I did adhere my 2 photos together that are going to slip into this flip flap. So you open up the pocket, and I have the photo on the back turned upside down because it is going to flip up. So this little adhesive strip will sit over close over the top. And then when it's adhered to my page protector, I can flip it up like that and you can see the additional photos. You can find still shots over on my Facebook, Pinterest, or Instagram account. If you're watching this video right when it goes live, it does sometimes take me a day to get those posted, but that way you have a nice, clear, detailed shot if you are inspired to scrap lift. I would love it if you would stop and take a moment to hit that thumbs up button. Thank you so much for doing that, and I hope you guys laughed with me over the silliness of that photo there. Everything I used can be found in the description box below the video, and don't forget to check out the workshop that is available for this paper collection also. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.